Hey, Adam DuVander from EveryDeveloper, and I want to show you the developer company examples gallery and one way you could use it today. And so we're going to look at a few of these examples as if we're developers and kind of have that first impression. Is it for me? Is it for the developer? So let's take a look. Here, Vercel, we see develop, preview ship. I mean, it is very much start deploying. So this is a developer message. Interestingly, there's not really developer stuff along the top here, but the main message is, 100-point font, pretty clear. Twilio is one I've talked about before, having certainly gone, some might say upmarket, definitely toward a more marketing or, customer engagement is what they say here. Sort of place. There's still, start building. So there's some kind of little signals to developers, of course. And you look in here at the top, developers gets its own section of the nav. So at least they see themselves there. Similarly here with Tailwind, if you look right to the nav, you see docs, but of course then this message here is very developer-y. It's a front-end developer type of message for sure that you get from this. And so if I'm that type of dev, I know that this place is for me. Now, if I'm a dev, I probably have already heard of Stripe. Stripe, some of their earlier homepages were actually had developers in the headline. Payments for developers, I think, was one of the first headlines. This one's one that they've gone back to over the years. Feels a little less developer-y, though. Infrastructure, very technical kind of term. You have APIs here, and then of course developers making an appearance in their global nav. Design APIs, that's pretty developer-y there. I get a docs as part of this for Strapi. Interesting, they have an open source menu here also, which for open source software, which Strapi is, makes a lot of sense. And so that's going to certainly get some developer attention also. Also, doesn't hurt that, this isn't code, but this is like a straight up command line that I can copy and create this project right on my machine. Developer loved, security trusted. That's pretty clear right there. Interestingly, though, again, not really seeing developers up here, but for some of these dev-focused companies, they might think, oh, well, we don't need to put developers in the nav because developers are everywhere. Our developers are our primary audience. So that is one of the reasons for sure that you'll see some not choose to use it here. But again, right at that first message, you get for sure that this is for me if I'm a dev. Snowflake, less of a developer audience than some of the other ones we've looked at, which might be the reason why there's not a lot of mention here. In fact, the only real direct mention is up here on this message that isn't even permanent, right? This about their summit here and the biggest data cloud developer summit where devs and data intersect. That's come develop on the data cloud. Lots of develop there in this little message for not having it anywhere else, kind of on at least that above the fold section of the homepage. SendGrid, where I had worked many years ago, now part of Twilio, right up on the top. I haven't looked back at the whether that's always been the case for SendGrid, but I know that in my time there was not code on the homepage. That was one of the things that a lot of us pushed for and eventually got, but after the time I left, I can't take credit for that. But the rest of this, despite having that up at the top, the rest of this is actually fairly kind of marketer focused. Again, part of Twilio, and Twilio's moved that direction, but I would say that SendGrid made that move even prior to being acquired by Twilio. I'm going to skip past that one. And then Postmark. Postmark, a SendGrid competitor, and again, not necessarily a developer message here at the top, but interestingly, their kind of secondary call to action here very much speaks to that developer audience. So you don't see developers called out here or in the main messaging, but it's still pretty dang important to get this kind of option right on the home page to go directly to the documentation. So they know they're speaking to not exclusively a developer audience, but they know that developers might be within that audience. And so that's definitely a call out to them there. So that's just a few of the pages here that you can browse yourself and kind of see, play the same game. I'm a developer. Is this for me? Is there something calling that out, either directly from the global nav or in that messaging or in some call to action? Is there something that says, yes, this is for you, developers?